Senator John Kennedy settled into his chair wearing that unmistakable expression, the one that signals he's about to ask a very simple question that could derail someone's entire afternoon. Across from him sat Pam Bondi, composed, confident, and with a hint of amusement. The hearing hadn't officially started yet, but the mood already felt less like a heated political battle and more like two seasoned conservatives preparing to spar, and maybe have a little fun, while Democrats watched nervously.
Let's suppose that I'm appointed special counsel at the Department of Justice, and I go to the telecommunication companies, the phone companies. Let's single out AT&T, and I say, look, I know you're busy, but I want to see a copy of the phone records of a sitting United States senator. They're not going to just give them to me, are they?
No, Senator, of course not.
In fact, they're probably going to ask me what planet I just parachuted in from, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
They're going to tell me to come back with a subpoena, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. What do I have to show in that subpoena to get those phone records of a sitting? Did I mention it was a sitting United States senator? I can't remember. What do I have to show to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator?
Yes, Senator, there were actually 8 sitting United States senators.
Yeah, I heard that.
And you would have to have cause.
I'm sorry, what do I have to show?
You would have to have cause to get the subpoena.
Good cause or probable cause?
Probable cause.
Okay. Probable cause, or if it's a subpoena deuces take 'em, good cause, to show what?
You would need good cause for a subpoena ducis tecum, and what you would have to show is that you believed a crime had been committed, or there was a possibility of a crime, or that could lead to other crimes. We frequently, in criminal enterprises, subpoena cell phones.
By the sitting United States senator?
Senator, they would have to have believed you were part of a criminal conspiracy, is my understanding.
Would a judge have to sign off on it? On the subpoena?
Yes, Senator. Well, for a subpoena ducis tecum, Jack Smith probably took it straight to the judge.
Now, the phone companies, particularly their general counsel, if they're worried about civil liability, even with a subpoena to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator. Did I mention it was a sitting United States senator?
Yes, Senator.
The general counsel for that phone company, let's say AT&T, they have the right to seek to quash that subpoena, don't they?
Phone companies frequently do that.
Yeah. And a smart general counsel for that phone company is going to call the sitting United States senator and say, would you like to weigh in on this? Would you like me to quash the subpoena? We're talking about invading someone's privacy here by a sitting United States senator. Could the general counsel for the phone company do that?
Well, Senator, if they believe that a crime could have been committed, they could not tip off the person who committed the crime. Again, I can't comment on details of this particular case.
I'm just asking you theoretically.
I've never seen you commit a crime, Senator Kennedy.
But let's suppose, okay, they didn't want to tip off the sitting United States senator. But the phone company and the general counsel for the phone company, or companies, if there were more than one involved, could say, you know, this is serious as an aneurysm. This is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke. This is a sitting United States senator. So general counsel would likely advise the CEO, well, you need to file a motion to quash. The telephone companies could have contested those subpoenas, could they not?
Hypothetically, yes. I can't talk about the facts of this particular case.
We're talking hypothetical.
Senator, subpoenas are issued all the time through phone companies working with the general counsel.
But they can file a motion to quash.
They could, yes.
Yeah.
In any case.
And if they should have filed a motion to quash, and a reasonable person would have filed a motion to quash, because this is a sitting United States senator, and they didn't file a motion to quash, they would incur civil liability, wouldn't they?
Senator, typically phone companies follow a subpoena from a United States attorney.
I know they do, but they don't have to.
They could challenge it, Senator.
Yeah. And if they don't challenge it, they better have a damn good reason. Right? Right?
Senator, I can't talk about the facts of this particular
This is just
case.
a hypothetical.
In general, hypothetically, Senator, maybe they didn't recognize any of the names of the 8 sitting United States senators.
Hypothetically.
That was a joke.
Or maybe they should have gone to Amazon and buy some testicles online. Instead of just saying, sure, I'll just show you the phone records of a sitting United States senator on the basis of an administrative subpoena. Now, do you have copies of the subpoena applications for
Yes,
these
Senator,
8?
Senator, I can't discuss anything regarding this
You can't
case
even
with
tell me if you have copies?
I can't discuss any of this.
All right,
with
when are
you,
you
I'm sorry.
going to, General, when are you going to be able to discuss it?
I can't discuss whether there is or is not a pending investigation,
I understand,
Senator.
but
This was
let's
just
assume
brought to light
if
by
there is a
Director
pending
Patel.
investigation, I don't want this to get swept under the rug, okay? Because I think you're going to get pushback from all quarters. I think the telecommunication companies are going to be all over you like a bad rash because they've got liability here for just turning over these records when they knew what was going on. I think some FBI agents may have some liability here. I think a special counsel might have some liability here. If I were your special counsel and you had appointed me and I wanted to get the records of a sitting United States senator, is that something you would expect me to tell you as Attorney General of the United States?
They better have.
Yeah.
And
Do we know in this instance of the 8 sitting United States senators if they told Attorney General Garland?
Senator, I just learned about this very recently, as did Director Patel, and we cannot discuss the details. I don't know many of the details.
Well, maybe we ought to get Attorney General Garland here. Do you know if the special counsel told FBI Director Wray? Is that something? Let me put it another way. If I were your special counsel and you were the director of the FBI and I'm trying to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator, did I mention it was a sitting United States senator? Is that something that you would expect me to tell you as director of the FBI?
Senator John Kennedy leaned forward, his eyebrows lifting in that familiar way that signals something pointed is coming. Ms. Bondi, he began, I've been listening to my friends across the aisle explain their budget, and I've got to say, if math had feelings, it'd be crying right about now. Pam Bondi pressed her lips together, trying not to laugh. Senator, she replied, they seem to have invented a whole new kind of arithmetic. Apparently if you spend more than you have, it works out just fine, as long as you call it an investment. Kennedy nodded slowly, as if carefully considering the logic. Right, he said. Kind of like telling your bank, I'm not overdrawing my account, I'm just dreaming bigger. A ripple of laughter moved through the room. Bondi continued, laying out her argument that many Democratic policies sounded impressive in theory but struggled when confronted with reality. Some of these ideas, she said, feel like they were drafted at a carnival booth after someone had a little too much cotton candy. Kennedy's grin widened. He replied, I've seen raccoons make better decisions around trash cans. Even Bondi had to stop for a moment and laugh. She then moved through several examples where, in her view, Democratic leaders avoided responsibility. They keep telling the public everything's fine, she said, even while the roof is on fire. Kennedy shook his head. Well, you know how it goes, he said. If they ever admitted they were wrong, half of them would faint and the other half would need therapy. The room chuckled again as Kennedy delivered another line. Some days, he continued, I think the strategy is just to confuse everyone until nobody remembers what the question was. Bondi nodded. They certainly appreciate a long speech that ends up saying absolutely nothing. Kennedy sighed theatrically. That's true, he said. Listening to some of them is like listening to a GPS that refuses to admit it's lost. As the exchange wrapped up, Bondi concluded with a confident tone, Senator, the American people deserve clarity, honesty, and real leadership. Right now, they are not getting that from the Democrats. Kennedy nodded in agreement. Well, Ms. Bondi, he said, you've made more sense in 10 minutes than some folks around here manage in 10 years. Laughter filled the committee room as the hearing wound down, ending not with tension, but with the unmistakable feeling that Kennedy and Bondi had just delivered a sharp, coordinated critique of their political opponents.